Stand up right now if you're physically capable. Go ahead, I'll wait patiently while you rise to your feet. Once you're standing, pause for just a second to truly pay attention to how your body and mind feel in this very moment. Are you noticing any subtle stiffness starting to settle into your joints or gradually creeping into your lower back? Maybe a deep, heavy fatigue pressing down on you, or perhaps that all too familiar mental fog quietly dimming your thoughts. Here's an important truth that too many older adults tend to overlook or downplay: the mild cognitive slowing you might be experiencing right now. Those frustrating little memory lapses, trouble finding the right words, or that general sense of mental dullness may not actually be an inevitable or truly normal part of getting older, even though so many people have quietly accepted it as something unavoidable. Let me reveal the surprising, frequently ignored reality. Those ongoing sleep difficulties are quietly and steadily wearing away at the long-term health and sharpness of your brain. The harm happens silently. No sharp pain, no obvious alarms, and usually without you even realizing the slow damage that's accumulating. What if I told you plainly that the single largest hidden factor quietly sabotaging brain health in so many older adults isn't too much sugar, isn't solely years of stress, and isn't mainly genetics, but something much more widespread, everyday, and completely within your control to change? Your sleep habits, routines, and daily patterns? I'm Doctor, and for over 20 years, I've devoted my career and clinical research to exploring the deep, powerful links between sleep and sustained brain health, particularly as we age. In my practice, the same concerning pattern shows up with discouraging frequency. Older adults come in feeling anxious, often truly scared, convinced that their growing memory slips, increasing irritability or short temper, or episodes of confusion are just unavoidable markers of aging that everyone has to accept eventually. But in a surprisingly large number of these situations, when we look at the complete picture closely, the real root cause turns out to be something far more fixable, treatable, and manageable: the quality of their sleep, or more accurately, how consistently they have been missing out on dependable, high-quality, deeply restorative sleep night after night. A lot of the sleep advice that people have followed for years, and much of what still shows up in standard recommendations, is unfortunately incomplete. It overlooks several of the most important and influential factors. True sleep quality isn't mainly or only about the total hours you spend in bed. In truth, sleep is the single most vital, non-negotiable daily window. When your brain performs essential behind-the-scenes maintenance and renewal, it actively flushes out harmful metabolic waste and toxic proteins, like the well-known beta amyloid associated with cognitive decline, that accumulate while you're awake. It solidly consolidates and reinforces the new memories and skills you picked up during the day. It carries out careful repairs on tired or damaged neural connections, and it resets your emotional centers to bring back balance, calm, and emotional resilience for the next day. When sleep gets repeatedly interrupted, fragmented, shallow, or lacking real depth, even if the total time in bed looks sufficient, the brain is nearly always the first organ to show the resulting damage, decline, and reduced performance. From a strong clinical and neuroscientific standpoint, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, your brain's master circadian clock, situated in the hypothalamus, relies heavily on consistent, dependable timing signals from your daily habits and surroundings to stay properly synchronized and function at its best. When bedtime varies too much or lacks regularity, even by just an hour or two night to night, the quantity and quality of deep NREM sleep, crucial for solid long-term memory consolidation and synaptic pruning, clearly drops, weakens, and gets disrupted. A thorough long-term study conducted at the University of Colorado Boulder followed 300 adults across 8 years. The results showed that individuals with irregular or highly variable sleep schedules suffered a remarkable 30% faster decline, specifically in episodic memory, the type involved in recalling personal events and experiences. And this quicker decline happened even when their average sleep length remained about the same. Another frequent habit among many seniors is staying awake in bed for extended stretches, anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour or more, night after night, while telling themselves, "It's no big issue," or "It only happens now and then." But this habit is especially damaging, sneaky, and self-reinforcing. Your brain is an incredibly efficient, lifelong learning system that constantly builds strong associations between locations, behaviors, and mental states. When you repeatedly lie awake, restless, or worried in bed for weeks or months, your brain slowly starts linking your bed to wakefulness, alertness, rumination, concern, or mild stress, rather than the calm, profound, restorative sleep it ought to represent. Over time, this learned negative connection leads to lighter sleep architecture overall, far more frequent brief awakenings and fragmentation all night long, and a major drop in slow-wave deep restorative sleep. Think of a simple everyday comparison. It's like repeatedly trying to park your car, but leaving the engine idling in the middle of a loud, hectic city intersection, instead of guiding it into a quiet, protected garage. Your bed should be a peaceful, secure, predictable haven, a true garage, where your mind and body can fully unwind and recharge. But by staying awake and mentally engaged in it night after night, you unintentionally turn that serene space into something chaotic, like rush hour traffic buzzing with non-stop stimulation. Research from Johns Hopkins University, which tracked 250 adults aged 65 and older over a long period, found that those who regularly spent extended time awake in bed experienced, on average, 42% more disruptive awakenings during the night and clearly higher levels of morning anxiety and tension. The slow but real buildup of effects includes steadily worsening daytime brain fog, ongoing irritability or quick temper, reduced emotional recovery, and even the start or worsening of anxiety, even in people who hadn't dealt with much of it before. Imagine your brain as a big absorbent sponge throughout the day. It needs enough wakefulness pressure from prolonged active hours to be thoroughly wrung out, cleansed, and refreshed during sleep. When you cut short that daytime buildup by going to bed much too early, the nighttime processes of detoxification, repair, and memory strengthening can't happen as fully or effectively. Detailed polysomnography studies from the University of Michigan revealed that seniors with very early bedtimes, often 8 p.m. or sooner, had REM sleep cycles about 20% shorter on average, even when they stayed in bed for 9 to 10 hours trying to rest. This timing mismatch often looks like, and gets mistakenly blamed on, the early signs of cognitive decline or mild cognitive impairment. The good news is that in most cases, this is largely reversible through steady, purposeful changes to bedtime. Additionally, controlled studies from Stanford University showed that even moderate ambient light at night in adults 65 and older could reduce melatonin production by as much as 50%. This reduction led to lighter, less efficient sleep stages, poorer memory formation and retention the next day, and small but noticeable drops in executive function. Too many seniors underestimate just how damaging this one subtle environmental factor can be over the long haul, mainly because the brain gives no dramatic, painful alerts when melatonin stays consistently suppressed. The cognitive and emotional consequences build up slowly and quietly over months and years, making it hard to spot the link to poor sleep habits in real time. Take Harold as an example, a 68-year-old man who gradually moved his bedtime earlier and earlier, finally landing on 7 p.m., thinking more time horizontal would bring better rest, quicker recovery, and more daytime energy. Instead, the reverse happened. He woke up completely alert at 3 a.m. every night, unable to fall back asleep, lying there staring at the ceiling in frustration for hours. Later, neuropsychological testing showed mild but clear declines in short-term recall and working memory. He had also been using low-dose sleep medication every night for years, though it had lost its impact. Working together, we set a strict, non-negotiable morning wake-up time, no matter how little sleep he'd had, greatly cut nighttime light exposure, especially from screens and hallway lights, and slowly pushed bedtime later by 15 minutes every few nights. Harold's deep sleep percentage rose by an impressive 35% per his sleep tracker. In just 8 weeks of sticking with it, his word recall and list learning scores improved from 1520 to 1920. The thick morning brain fog that had bothered him for years vanished completely, and his daytime mood became calm, patient, and positive. The rest protocol effectively restarted his brain's natural repair and regulation processes. At the heart of the rest protocol is rhythm, establishing a fixed wake-up time every single day. Make a firm commitment to getting up and out of bed at exactly the same time each morning, regardless of how poorly or shortly you slept the night before. Next comes stimulus control, a proven behavioral sleep method. If you're lying awake in bed for more than 20-30 minutes at any point in the night and sleep won't come despite trying to relax, get up quietly, keep lights extremely dim, using a small red or amber light for safety if needed, and do something truly boring and non-engaging, like reading dull pages from an uninteresting book, listening to calm, non-story sounds, gentle nature recordings, or soft instrumental music, or sitting quietly in another room. The aim is to retrain your brain to strongly connect your bed and bedroom with rest, relaxation, drowsiness, and deep sleep, rather than wakefulness, overthinking, or anxiety. Research from Johns Hopkins showed that this method cuts average nighttime awakenings by about 42% in seniors within 6 weeks of steady use. Then there's timing. The third pillar, target a bedtime window, usually between 9:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. for most seniors. Adjust a little according to your natural chronotype or daily schedule, but this range has solid supporting evidence. If your current bedtime is much earlier, like 7:30 or 8 p.m., shift it later gradually in 15-minute steps every few nights until you reach better biological alignment. Finally, deliberately reduce nighttime light exposure and talk over any current sleep medications carefully with your doctor. After sunset, stick to dim, warm, amber or red lighting at home and steer clear of blue light screens, phones, tablets, TVs, etc. for at least 1 hour before bed, ideally 90 minutes to 2 hours. Safeguarding your natural melatonin is essential for deeper, more restorative sleep and for backing overnight brain detoxification, memory consolidation, synaptic balance, and emotional reset. Even small, steady improvements in light control and screen habits often deliver surprisingly large and lasting gains in daily brain performance and overall well-being. To be fully clear and responsible, the REST protocol offers safe, evidence-based lifestyle and behavioral approaches to boost natural sleep quality and support brain health. It is not a medical cure, treatment, reversal, or prevention for diagnosed conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's disease, vascular cognitive impairment, Lewy body disease, frontotemporal dementia, or other serious progressive neurological disorders. Never stop, change, or adjust any prescribed medications, including sleep aids, antidepressants, blood pressure drugs, cognitive enhancers, etc., without full discussion and approval from your physician or neurologist. If you have untreated obstructive sleep apnea, serious heart issues such as congestive heart failure, recent heart attack, or arrhythmias, severe untreated depression, bipolar disorder, restless leg syndrome, chronic pain that interrupts sleep, or other major medical or psychiatric conditions, consult your doctor, a sleep specialist, or relevant expert before making big shifts to your sleep routine. The smartest way is gradual. Start with a fixed wake-up time, slowly adjust bedtime, then add stimulus control and light management once the base feels steady. Gradual changes let your body and brain adapt comfortably and sustainably, much better than abrupt shifts. These steps are low risk, generally safe for most older adults when done thoughtfully, and backed by strong peer-reviewed evidence showing real improvements in sleep quality, cognition, and brain health with aging. My personal challenge to you today: pick just one part of the REST protocol, maybe committing to a fixed wake-up time, even on weekends, slowly moving bedtime toward 9:30, 10:30 p.m., cutting evening light exposure, or applying stimulus control when awake too long in bed, and stick to it diligently for the next 30 days, no exceptions. Each day, write a short note about how your mental clarity, mood stability, and memory dependability feel compared to before. After 30 days, come back here and share openly in the comments what went well, what was difficult, and any shifts, big or small, in brain function, energy, mood, or sharpness. Your real experiences can inspire, encourage, and create hope and connection for others dealing with similar issues, while strengthening your own resolve. Your brain has faithfully supported you through decades of life's highs and lows, joys, hardships, achievements, setbacks, quiet wins, everything. It has been your companion, problem solver, memory keeper, and emotional anchor. It deserves much more than to be brushed off as just old age, when so much of the decline may actually come from correctable sleep problems rather than irreversible aging. The empowering reality is that you can take practical, science-supported steps right now to gain sharper memory, better focus, more stable emotions, and renewed mental energy, all through careful, consistent improvements to your sleep habits. The overlooked reality continues: poor, inconsistent, low-quality sleep, not just sugar, not chronic stress alone, not mainly genetics, is quietly speeding up brain function decline every day, often without pain or clear signals. Over more than 20 years in senior brain health and sleep research and practice, I've seen this preventable pattern repeat in hundreds of patients. Memory issues, irritability, confusion, word-finding trouble, daytime fatigue, and lower resilience often stem from chronic sleep disruptions and suboptimal sleep patterns, not simply from aging itself. Sleep acts as active nightly brain maintenance, clearing toxins, storing memories, repairing connections, resetting emotions. When quality drops, the brain suffers first and most deeply. The truth that so many keep overlooking, undervaluing, or missing completely is this: poor, disrupted, inconsistent, or low-quality sleep habits, not excessive sugar over the years, not chronic stress by itself, not primarily genetic factors, are quietly and steadily harming and hastening brain function decline every single day, often without pain, without dramatic warnings, and without the link being obvious right away. After more than 20 years committed to senior brain health and sleep science in research and clinical practice, I've observed this same avoidable pattern countless times in hundreds of patients. Memory lapses, increased irritability or emotional reactivity, growing confusion or word-finding difficulties, ongoing daytime fatigue, and reduced mental resilience very often come from chronic sleep disruptions and less than ideal sleep structure, rather than unavoidable aging alone. Sleep is much more than passive rest. It's the crucial, active nightly period when your brain handles critical housekeeping, clearing built-up toxic metabolic waste, consolidating and strengthening new memories for long-term storage, doing microscopic repairs to damaged or weakened neural pathways, and resetting your emotional equilibrium and limbic system for better stability and adaptability ahead. When sleep quality repeatedly lessens, fragments, or gets shallower, your brain inevitably takes the heaviest hit first and most severely, often long before other organs show obvious signs. Thank you sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, for taking the time to watch, listen, or read all the way through. It means so much that you dedicated this time to learning about something so important to your long-term well-being. Feel completely free and encouraged to share your current age in the comments. It helps build community understanding, or just write the word foggy if that describes how your thinking or energy has felt lately. Or type "I'm in" if you're ready and motivated to start at least one small, practical rest change tonight or tomorrow. Improving and protecting your sleep is one of the kindest, most powerful, accessible, and meaningful things you can do for your mind's long-term health, sharpness, and vitality. I truly appreciate you being here with me today, and I look forward to hearing from you soon, whether with a brain-restored note, your 30-day update, or a brief comment on how this message connected with you. Take wonderful care of yourself and your sleep. Until next time, one final gentle reminder as we wrap up: the rest protocol changes are intentionally approachable, sustainable, and forgiving. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Trying to do everything at once often leads to feeling overwhelmed and quick burnout. That's exactly why the protocol emphasizes starting with just one pillar: rhythm, as the strongest and most foundational, since a consistent wake-up time creates a reliable anchor for everything else to build on. Once that anchor is solid, the other adjustments, bedtime timing, stimulus control, light management, become much simpler and more effective. Many people beginning this journey say the first week or two feels a bit odd, maybe waking at the new fixed time, feeling groggy after short sleep, or fighting the urge to nap, a common impulse best gently resisted when possible to preserve nighttime sleep drive. These short-term discomforts are normal signs that your internal clock and sleep pressure systems are recalibrating. They almost always fade within 7-14 days as consistency builds and your circadian rhythm strengthens. If you run into ongoing challenges, like staying extremely sleepy during the day after weeks of effort, or noticing loud snoring, gasping, as a partner reports, frequent leg movements waking you, or other indicators of a possible underlying sleep disorder, please don't wait to get professional help. A sleep study, polysomnography, or visit with a board-certified sleep medicine specialist can pinpoint treatable conditions like sleep apnea, periodic limb movement disorder, or others that behavioral changes alone might not fully resolve. Addressing those core issues first often makes the rest protocol work better and faster. For most cases, where built-up poor sleep habits, rather than a major undiagnosed medical sleep disorder, are the main issue. The power of this approach comes from its simplicity and empowerment. No costly devices, strange supplements, or complicated routines are needed. What matters is consistency, patience, and giving sleep the same priority you give to nutrition, exercise, and relationships. Sleep is not a luxury or optional add-on. It's the foundation that lets every other part of life work at its best. As you move forward with your chosen single change over the next 30 days, approach it with curiosity instead of perfectionism. Notice what happens when you stick to your wake-up time even after a rough night. Observe how energy, mood, and mental clarity change, even subtly, when you cut evening screens and bright lights. See if getting out of bed after 20-30 minutes awake shortens the time it takes to fall back asleep when you return. These small personal observations are powerful. They turn abstract science into real, lived proof that your efforts are making a difference. When the 30 days are up, I genuinely hope you'll come back and share. It can be brief, something simple like, age 72, started with fixed 7 a.m. wake up, fog lifting a bit each week, I'm in. Or, Foggy described me perfectly. After 30 days, no phone past 9 p.m., mornings feel clearer. Or, tough at first, wanted to stay in bed at 4 a.m., but stimulus control helped, memory already sharper. Your voice matters. Every honest contribution helps someone else reading now, feeling discouraged and wondering if change is possible at their age. It shows they're not alone, that modest, consistent steps can bring real progress, and that it's never too late to give your brain the nightly support it has quietly needed. In closing, here's my final thought. Aging itself is not the enemy of a sharp, vibrant mind. Neglecting the brain's most essential nightly recovery process is. By choosing, even in one small way, to prioritize better sleep structure, you're investing in lasting mental clarity, emotional balance, and resilience that improve every area of life. You've already taken the hardest step by reading to the end and opening yourself to the idea that just getting older may not be the full story. Now the next small step is yours. Pick your one rest element tonight. Commit to starting tomorrow morning. Track it gently for 30 days. Then return and tell us how it went. Your clearer-minded future self is waiting on the other side of that consistency. Thank you once again for your time, your attention, and your openness to a new perspective on brain health. Sleep well, live sharply, and I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, take good care.